Welcome, students and colleagues from Malaysia, and of course, students and colleagues from Mexico. I am Dr. Luz Licea, and I will be talking to you about a panoramic view on virtual education in Mexico, English for normal schools. I hope you enjoy this. Let's start. Okay, so what are normal schools? Normal schools are the teacher training higher education schools in Mexico. If you want to be a teacher, you go to a normal school. That's how it goes. And the programs that we offer go from kindergarten, elementary, and secondary school. In secondary school, you can have a specialty, and it can be any of the subjects like mathematics or Spanish, English, of course, and science or whatever specialty you want to teach. The other ones are programs for kindergarten and elementary. And why do we study English in Mexico? Well, we are located here, we're the red country here, and we are bordering the United States of America. Therefore, we have a lot of need of English speakers here because of tourism and migration and fluctuation. And a lot of people are binational. We go both countries, especially here at the border. So this is why it is a very important language to speak here in Mexico. And finally, how is Mexico handling education? Well, we went virtually on March 17, 2020. So what we did was to adapt everything, and I'm pretty sure you did the same, to go in a virtual modality, except for basic education. We call primary education, basic education, which is kindergarten, elementary, and secondary schools. We have an open channel, a TV channel, and they are broadcasting contents from school every day there live. So if a child cannot attend or use or don't have the access to technology, they can watch TV and they can start doing and follow the programs there, which is, I think, a great tool that we created here. But this is not the case for higher education. We went 100% online, and where I am going to explain exactly what we did from the trainer's perspective, the teachers. Okay. Our objectives are to have a panoramic view on how virtual education is happening in the normal schools in Mexico. So this is what I'm going to talk about. And to learn about online teaching during the pandemic throughout the teacher's perspective, to motivate students, you, to collaborate, learn, and connect with the ideas and situations presented, specifically the part with collaboration between these two beautiful countries. And of course, to raise awareness of the challenges of teaching in the new normal. Because you are going to be teachers in the very near future, it is important for you to be aware of what you can confront. Okay? So, talking about a framework, I don't know if you are, I'm guessing you are somewhat familiar with connectivism learning theory. It is what's happening right now. This is from Simmons. And connectivism, what it is a theoretical framework for understanding and how learning happens in the digital age. And it emphasizes on how internet and technologies contribute to creating new avenues for learning. And of course, learning doesn't simply happen within an individual, but it's within and across the networks, talking about what is happening right now and thinking about this situation, two countries, and all of the information and all of the learning that is going to happen in between all of these things throughout this virtual symposium. Okay, so in our methodology, this is only important because 54 English trainers responded a survey and 35 of them provided further information. But these trainers are from 25 out of 32 states And this is Mexico, and this is the division in states. We have 32, 31 actually in capital city, but it is very big and it's considered like a 32nd state. And well, most of them were covered. So this is important because we have very broad information throughout the whole country. Okay, so talking about results, what did we gather? It is important to make this comparison of difficulty at the beginning of the pandemic 1 year ago and now. So I'm not going to talk about the topics individually, but I want for you to be able to see the differences. This top one, it's at the beginning, and this bottom one, it's now. Okay, so blue corresponds to easy and purple corresponds to hard. And of course, the middle parts go towards one or towards the other. As we can see at the beginning, everyone was thinking, or most of them were thinking, it was kind of difficult. It was right in the middle, and some things very difficult, especially this one, which is time management. We were having a lot of difficulty with time management here. And what we can see now, 1 year later, is that the bars moved towards the left, which are the easy parts. So what things that were somewhat complicated started getting easier and easier and easier, including time management, even if it's not super easy for everyone to go around it, it's getting better. So this is an advice for you. Be kind to yourselves. Don't expect perfection at the beginning of teaching, at the beginning of your career, your first practices. This takes time. These are experienced teachers with many, many years of teaching. And it took us 1 year to go from here to here. So be kind to yourselves. Give yourself time to learn and improve as you go and continue with your teaching. Okay. Talking about students' attendance, this is important because, as you could see in the map, we are a very, very big country. We have a lot of states and we have a lot of different realities. We have very big cities with all of the technological resources, internet connection, and all of that. Actually, we live in one of those cities right now, Tijuana, and we border the United States. So we also have a lot of English speaking. We are somewhat in better conditions for this kind of learning, but it is not the same reality for the rest of the country. We have a lot of countryside, a lot of towns, a lot of territory that does not have the technological resources or the economical acquisitive opportunities to get everything, to go to school. So you're going to find that some students couldn't attend because of lack of these resources, and they couldn't participate because of the same thing. But the important part is how many are they regularly to online classes. So it is important, and is happy to see this graphic because a lot of them are participating. So 44% of the teachers say that 90 to 100% of students are attending classes, and 37 says 80 to 90. So if we go with this, which is the majority, we are saying that most of our future teachers are going to the normal schools regularly right now and on the online modality. But of course, we have these areas of opportunities that have to do mostly on a location and on economic factors. Okay. And then we have, of those students who are attending, what's the participation? So here it pops up this big red one that says 50% of teachers saying that they're participating from 80 to 90%. So this is a very high rate of participation. And the second one is 25.9, which is also a very high rate of participation. So our students who are attending are participating, and that is also very good. But there is still this area of opportunity that we need to encourage students, and most of the times, like I said before, has to do with lack of technological devices and resources, but also it has to do with self-regulatory processes that are complicated, because being online, I have to regulate my process. And it is not the same to have established schedule, to have a place to be in, and a teacher who's telling me to do things, than me having to do it myself. If I can do it later, or, time management, which was one of the biggest issues. So this is important. And if we go to what students are actually achieving, what are their grades, we can convert this into grades. We in Mexico, we evaluate from 5 to 10. I left it from here to 100 to be a little bit more on board of what we're talking about. So from 59 and down, we do not approve or pass to the next course, or etc. We have to repeat the courses, right? So as we can see, most of our students are getting an 80 or a 90, and 70 or an 80, around these lines, and or even the 100. But there's also students that are getting 60s, which are a little bit, well, it's the bare minimum. It's the bare minimum. So these are not very good grades. And also, of course, there are people that are not getting good enough grades to go to the next course. And I think this has more to do with self-regulation, or lack of self-regulation. And also, of course, without making it less of a problem, the technological resources. And well, teachers, English teachers around Mexico, interpret the success of online modalities so far as mostly 80 or 90%. We go from 70 to 100% of success. So this tells us something's been happening that is right. Since we have all of this rate of success, something is happening here that is happening in a very good way. We have a lot of resources. You students are very dedicated. You are very committed. You are committing to yourselves. You are committed to your career. You're committed to your future students. So this talks very good about you. But we are still are we have areas of opportunity. Of course we do. We cannot talk about 100% of success. Everything's perfect, right? It doesn't work that way. But we are going great. You are doing a great job. And I think your teachers are also doing great jobs trying to keep you engaged in your school and in your career. So this is important. I'm pretty sure Malaysia has the same things. Mostly relatable here. Okay. So, for you, future teachers, what were some successful practices? Take some notes, because this is important. This might help you when you practice or when you start teaching professionally. These things, maybe if you have to teach in an online modality too, this might help. So, allowing students to not turn their cameras on. What happens here is that when we are being watched in a camera, sometimes we get stressed or we get shy. So allowing them to speak to us with a turn off camera helps students to lower the stress and feel more comfortable with the participation. Of course, we're talking about participating students, right? This is important. And I think this motivates students who are a little bit more shy or a little bit more easy to stress to actually participate, especially when we're talking about in a different language that we're not comfortable with, which is English in this case. Okay, the use of WhatsApp for those students who don't have internet. In Mexico, most cell phone companies include WhatsApp in your monthly payment of cell phones. So it is more broadly and used, this application, than having the actual internet connection. So what it's happening is that if students couldn't, or those students who can't actually be online, they can do things through WhatsApp. Of course, providing material to work during the virtual session, and not to be only my students listening to me or seeing me how I speak, but actually giving the materials to work makes it better. The time goes by easier and a little bit more, interesting too. Of course, the use of applications, like all of the ones that you can think of. We have here some examples like Padlet, Kahoot, Mentimeter, Breakout Rooms, and there are so many others. But using them, we have them. They're there. Most of them are free, or they have free versions, so we can actually use them, and they're interesting and good materials, good resources. Organizing the class in small groups divided by level of proficiency. This is important. If you teach kids by grade, on the school grade or their age, but not the levels of English proficiency, then you can divide it in small groups. So you can target their specific level instead of trying to control a whole group, right? So they can maintain attention, and also they feel motivated. And the variety of materials, this is important, especially to target all the four skills in language. Not just focus on one, not just focus on grammar because it's easier online, but try to give them a variety and a variety of materials, and also a variety of assignments, so they can find different things, so they can do and they can learn a little bit more. And of course, this is very important, asking for and providing feedback. It's not just you giving them feedback, which is very important. It is very important. Don't stop doing it. But also asking them, how do you feel in class? Or do you feel like you're learning? Did you like this assignment? Which type of assignment makes you feel more motivated? Always ask them if you're doing the correct thing for them in this particular and specific time. Remember, education, we don't have the key to successful. We have to be adapting all the time. So it is very important to ask them. Okay. And areas of improvement, I think some of you are going to relate to these problems that teachers confronted. One is evaluation and assessment. It is more complicated online. Time management, we've been talking about this, balancing our normal lives with our work lives, or our normal lives with our school lives. It is complicated. Also, the strategies to develop speaking skills. It is more complicated online because of the lack of socialization between all of the students. Online or peer group projects get a little bit very minimized. It is complicated because we're not in the same physical space. Developing resources and materials, again, we have to just keep trying and bringing them and selecting them, and doing things that are interesting for our students. And also the socio-emotional aspect of teaching and learning. This is very complicated because this is so cold. It can get so cold. And to establish some online rapport, especially with new students, tends to be very complicated. The social aspect of education gets a little bit behind when we're behind a screen. So this is things that we still need to work on. Okay? So, as a conclusion, the pandemic has brought many challenges in education throughout the world, and finding similarities between situations can be satisfactory and also enlightening if we focus on successful practices. We take our time to learn, to share, and to collaborate with peers. So, I hope that we can come up with a lot of collaboration between these two beautiful countries from this symposium, that you can actually talk and collaborate with your peers from here, from Mexico. I hope you find the time to share as much as you can share. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. These are some of the references I use. And of course, this is me. And thank you. We go to questions now.